I welcome you to the pure world I have forged.
Lara Croft has recently made her debut into Dead by Daylight. As both a Tomb Raider and Dead by Daylight fan, this collab is a dream come true, and it got me thinking, what other Tomb Raider content could we see for DBD? With nearly 30 years of history behind it, Tomb Raider and Lara have nearly a limitless supply of content to take inspiration from. Will Lara or other characters in DBD get more Tomb Raider themed cosmetics? Who knows, but it's always fun to speculate. Join me in my ramble about all the Tomb Raider themed skins I would like to see in DBD, however unlikely. The version of Lara we get in DBD is based off the reboot era, basically Tomb Raider 2013 to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Let's start here for cosmetics, as if we ever got any future DLC for Tomb Raider, I think it will probably be this era they focus on the most. We of course already have a few skins for Lara taken from these three games, but there are even more choices I would love to see included. Firstly, we have Lara's Henley shirt from Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's kind of like an updated version of her 2013 look with hints of classic Lara. This look from Rise is called Valiant Explorer. I've sort of tried to pick ones that look a bit more Tomb Raider, in air quotes, mainly because I think like the ones with all this like animal skins could be worn by anyone, so these kind of really feel very Lara to me personally. So this looks from Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's called her adventurer outfit she wears at the start of the game. Again, very Tomb Raider looking. Lara's explorer outfit. Again, it's very adventurer looking. She looks like she's off to see the sights. Maybe a little bit touristy as well. This is the Croft Manor training gear, and I think it's probably my favourite one. It kind of reminds me of her Croft Manor look from the very first Tomb Raider game. It's quite athletic looking, so it would fit in the fog. So those are all the reboot skins, but as we know, Tomb Raider has a very extensive history, and I think there's one look in particular that a lot of fans would love to see, which is of course her classic sort of tank top and shorts look. This is a picture of the sort of new updated design they're going for the future Tomb Raider game we're supposed to be getting at some point, and it sort of basically is just the classic look from the original games with the reboot pendant. This seems to be the look that Crystal Dynamics are going for with the new game. We've seen it in a few other collabs like Call of Duty, so I feel like it would make sense to see it in DBD. Starting from Tomb Raider 1 all the way to Tomb Raider Underworld, let's do a quick fire round of all the cool potential Lara costumes we could see. So those are all the skins from the classic games. I tried to sort of pick just two from each one because there's so many more that you could add. I feel like those were the most iconic ones from each game. It would be really great if Behaviour maybe added some of these. Obviously Tomb Raider has such an extensive history, so referencing some of these older titles with some of these sort of classic looks would be a really nice treat for Tomb Raider fans. So there's quite a few options for the other survivors. I feel like it would be kind of like how Fang has a Jill-inspired outfit from Resident Evil, and I think she also has a Cheryl one from Silent Hill, and Felix has a Chris Redfield one from Resident Evil. So basically the DVD characters wearing Tomb Raider style outfits. You might even get, say, it probably would still be Fang wearing like the iconic sort of tank top and shorts look, maybe even the 2013 look. I suppose you could give it to other characters as well, maybe like, I don't know, Mia or Kate or Elodie, something like that. It'd be kind of cool to see, as it is such a iconic look. I've tried to pick sort of costumes that would match up with the survivor. So, for example, Alex from the 2013 game and Dwight are very similar looking, so it kind of would make sense if Dwight got a Alex inspired skin. Some I've tried to make work, some are probably a bit random, but I just thought I'd try again going through the entire Tomb Raider series and seeing who could be made into potential cosmetics for the survivors. There are all the survivor cosmetics. I think some probably have some overlap. I mean, an obvious one would be Jeff as Jonah, but also Jeff would kind of suit Curtis as well. Again, the most likely choices are probably those from the reboot era, especially the 2013 game, the sort of other shipwrecked survivors. That aesthetic would go quite well with Lara, I think. As with the survivors, there's lots of potential for killer cosmetics too. Some obvious choices would be taking Tomb Raider villains and antagonists and applying them to killers. So I think this look from Tomb Raider Anniversary of Natla, who's the sort of big bad of that game, would work so well with the Plague. I mean, you've got the kind of similarities of this sort of regal femininity. Having the Plague's weapon be based off the Scion from Anniversary as well, I think would be perfect. Seeing that on the end of the chain, and especially if it was still rotating like it does in the actual game, would be really cool to see. Another couple of looks I think would suit the Skull Merchant would be, again, Natla from both the original Tomb Raider and Anniversary. I mean, obviously, the Skull Merchant's supposed to be this ruthless businesswoman, which parallels Natla perfectly. Natla is the CEO of a tech company who's also an evil lady, so again, it makes complete sense for those two to share cosmetics. As for the Skull Merchant's actual mask and weapon, I think taking inspiration from the Atlantean mutants and also from Natla herself would work quite well. Another source of inspiration for a cosmetic would be the mutants from both Tomb Raider 1 and Anniversary, basically skinless creatures. I mean, maybe the Unknown could have a kind of horrible, fleshy cosmetic inspired by them. It would definitely fit. I think it's sort of perfect evidence as to why Tomb Raider works in Dead by Daylight, as it has these quite gruesome horror elements and elements of body horror, so it is sort of tonally appropriate. Another option would be the Deathless Ones from Rise of the Tomb Raider. They're basically these ancient Greek knights decked out in armor. Aesthetically, they would perfectly match up with the knight, and seeing some kind of like crazy blue flames coming out of him would be pretty sick. Something that would be really cool would be different weapons. So Tomb Raider has all these sort of ancient artifacts and weapons and things. Sometimes Lara can use them. I mean, one in particular that comes to mind is the Dagger of Xi'an from Tomb Raider 2. That would be a really great weapon for, say, the Clown or maybe the Legion. Another choice would be Excalibur from Tomb Raider Legend. This would perfectly suit the knight and his aesthetic. I mean, it's supposed to be a weapon that was used by King Arthur in Tomb Raider Legend, so the knight and King Arthur, it lines up. So this final section is dedicated to legendary cosmetics, so Tomb Raider themed kind of antagonists or villains that I think would actually work quite well as their own killer, or at least a legendary cosmetic for a killer. Two of the most obvious ones, firstly, would be Himiko from the Tomb Raider 2013 game, and I think she could be a legendary skin for the Spirit. I mean, these go hand in hand. Himiko is this Japanese shaman queen that has these kind of powers over the weather, and she's the main antagonist of the TR 2013 game, so it would perfectly line up with Lara. I think even having her use this broken sword that Lara finds in the game would line up perfectly. Maybe even adding some kind of weather effects when she attacks. Also, you could maybe change the Spirit's voice slightly to suit Himiko, like something like this.
The Witcher!
I mean, an undead shaman queen that controls the weather is like a perfect fit for Dead by Daylight. So, I mean, she could probably be her own killer, to be fair, but I think a legendary skin for the Spirit would work well. I mean, the Spirit already has similar kind of aesthetics anyway, so it'd be a perfect match. The second most obvious choice, again from the Tomb Raider 2013 game, is Himiko's Storm Guard, or the Storm Guard Onis, which of course would be a perfect skin for the Oni himself. Maybe not necessarily a legendary one, but just taking, you know, the armor and the weapons that these Storm Guards use and putting them on the Oni. It would just, again, a no-brainer. A couple for the Legion now, the first one being Constantine from Rise of the Tomb Raider. He is basically just a dude in like military gear, but kind of aesthetically similar to Hunk a little bit. And he was a pretty menacing villain in Rise of the Tomb Raider. You could probably have some fun with his like quotes and things.
You lack discipline. I can hear you. There you are. The time for games is over. Show yourself I know you're out there!
The other Legion skin idea I had would be the doppelganger from Tomb Raider Underworld. She arguably could maybe just be a legendary survivor skin for Lara, but she also is a villain in Underworld and kicks some major butt, especially Lara, so she probably could be her own killer. I only really picked the Legion because they're kind of fast, and in Underworld she sort of seems to have super strength and super speed. She could definitely have some good voice lines as well.
Like your new look. I am you, with the flaws removed. Obsession and compulsion are much the same. Either way, we are neither of us our own masters. What would you do? Looks like the device suffered some damage after all.
You? Get this thing off me!
And last but not least, we have the Crimson Fire Priestess, or Shakshel, for the Hag. She has such a striking design. I think it would work so well with the Hag, and the voice as well is especially quite terrifying and very Hag-like, so it would definitely suit. See what I mean? And there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. Will any of these actually appear in Dead by Daylight? Unlikely, but it's always fun to speculate. I personally would love to see her classic tank top look. I mean, even if they use the newer design, I mean, it's definitely her most iconic look, and you instantly recognise it as Lara Croft when you see it, so it'd be, I think, a real treat to see that in DVD. I had a lot of fun making this. I'm tempted to try and do a Tomb Raider killer for Dead by Daylight. There are some interesting options, however unlikely, but again, it's a lot of fun to make these, so why the hell not? Again, thank you so much for watching. Do you think we'll get any Tomb Raider skins in the future? Please let me know in the comments below. I stream Tuesdays and Fridays usually on Twitch, so you can follow me there. I also have a Twitter or X account if you'd like to follow me there too. The links are all in the description below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.